Tenali Raman and the Three Dolls. The great king Krishna-Dev-Raya had a lot of wise ministers in his court, and the wisest of them all was Tenali Raman. One day, a merchant came to the king's court from a foreign kingdom. He saluted the king and said, "Your Majesty, I have heard from many people that you have very wise ministers in your court. But with your permission, I would like to test the wisdom of your ministers." This aroused the king's interest, and he gave the merchant his permission. The merchant gave the king 3 dolls that looked identical. He said, "Though these dolls look similar, they are different in some way. If your ministers can find out the difference, I shall bow to their wisdom. But if they cannot, I will assume that there are no wise ministers in your court. I will be back in 30 days for the answer." The king asked all his ministers except Tenali Raman to assemble. He gave them the 3 dolls and told them to find the difference in the dolls in 3 days' time. But at the end of 3 days, none of the ministers could figure out the difference. The king got worried, and now he called Tenali Raman. He said to him, "Tenali, I did not summon you before because I thought that this problem will be too simple. But since no one has been able to find the solution, it is up to you now. Please find the difference between these dolls." So Tenali took the 3 dolls and went away. The problem proved difficult for Tenali too. But at last, after a lot of effort, he figured out the difference. He went back to the court with the 3 dolls on the day that the merchant had to return. Then he announced in the front of the whole court that he had found the difference between the dolls. He said, "These 3 dolls are different because one of them is good, one average, and one bad." When everyone asked Tenali that which doll was which, he showed them a tiny hole that was present in the ears of each of the dolls. Then he took a very thin wire and put it into the hole of the first doll's ear. The wire came out from the doll's mouth. Then he did the same with the second doll, and this time the wire came out from the doll's other ear. And in the third doll, the wire went straight to the heart and did not come out. Tenali Raman explained. In the first doll, the wire went in through the ear and came out through the mouth. So this doll is bad, as it represents people who cannot keep a secret. In the second doll, the wire came out of the other ear. So it is average and represents harmless people who do not understand what is said to them. And the third doll, in which the wire went to the heart and did not come out, that represents the good people who will keep the secret that you tell them. The king, the merchant, and all the courtiers were very impressed with Tenali's wise answer. Then Tenali said, "But there can be another explanation too. The first doll represents people who gain knowledge and spread it among others, so it is good. The second doll represents people who do not understand what they are taught, so it is average. And the third doll represents people who have knowledge, but they keep it all to themselves. They do not teach anyone anything, and so they are bad people." Hearing this, the king was even more impressed. He asked, "Can there be any other explanation?" And so, can you think of a third explanation to answer the king?